Okay, we're going to move forward to say this is October. And October is our domestic violence month. And it's sad that domestic violence needs to have a whole month. It doesn't even make sense. But it has reached a part where it needs a whole month. It has a whole month. And we need to talk about it. Our domestic violence we see show up in more than just the spouse. And I'll say spouse because men are abused also. But we'll say more women are abused than men. But it shows up more than there. You know, in schools, we're having a lot of problem with bullying. A whole lot of problem with bullying. But some of the bullying came from home. Some of the bullying came from home. And if a kid's in an abuse, let's say the kid's in an abusive household where he's not being abused, but dad is abusing mom. You know what? So since mom is not doing anything about it, to that child, it becomes okay. It does. Hey, I can beat her up. Nothing's going to happen to me. So that child goes to school and becomes a bully because that's what they're learning at home. And that's all they know. So they're becoming a bully and doing whatever they're doing. And they're getting in trouble for it, not understanding why when they're smaller. But they become the bullies because that's all they know. They don't know anything else. And we haven't taught them anything else. So a lot of it manifests outside of the house and into the schools. And then you've got a bigger situation than you thought. And a lot of us, we know women that are being abused and we say nothing. And then there are some of us who say, leave. We actually sit there and say, leave. Just, girl, pack up yourself and get out of there. Well, you know what? It's not that way. Because domestic violence is more than just physical. It's mental. It's when you take a female and you demean her to where she's nothing. That her sole job is to Allah the man of the house and the children, because, you know, she's become their little slave also, because she has no rights. She has no being. So she's been stripped. She's been brainwashed. She's been stripped, demeaned. So she internally believes that she's nobody, she's nothing, and she's not worth it. You know, and she has to make some decisions that you don't understand. You see, he pays all the bills, all of them. He gonna pay all of them. Every bill that needs to be paid, he gonna pay it. Because he has to keep his household secret and keep it okay on the outside so that the inside, nobody knows. So she doesn't get any money. She doesn't make any money. She doesn't have a job. And she does have a job. She has to come home and give the money up because she can't have any. So all that's taken away from her. So if she does leave and she has kids, she has to think about one thing. How am I going to take care of these kids? Because believe me, he's put it in her head that you can't live without me. And in her head, if he's the breadwinner, she can't live without him. Well, I'm not saying to her, she can't live without him because she's going to look at, he pays all the bills, he buys all the food. She wants for nothing. She wants for freedom and not to be beat. But the main wants and needs she'll look at are being taken care of. And the kids are being taken care of. So she has a choice to make. Does she stay in this abusive relationship for the sake of her kids? Or does she turn around and leave for the sake of her kids? Because remember, this is for the sake of the kids. So if she stays for the sake of the kids will see her get beat. And they will grow up to be one or the other, you know, have issues or not, depends on their child. Somewhere or another, they're going to suffer from this. So she's going to stay for that. Or does she leave and her kids have to start off with nothing? With just beginning all over again. So she has to make a decision for her, as for her kids, how she's going to do this. Because remember, if she leaves him and the kids end up living in a whatever, you know, less place than they were living before, instead of, what I mean by that is they might go from a house to an apartment. You know, they might not have the nicest this, the nicest that. So is she going to take him to that? You know, is she going to take him to that? Or is she going to leave them where they are? She's got to think about that. And you need to understand. Remember, she's been brainwashed and beat down, so she has to do a lot of things and to think about a lot of things on how she's going to make this move. Now, as friends or as acquaintances or somebody who just knows her, can we help? Yes. But the worst thing we can say is just leave. Because you got to remember, it isn't a just leave situation. She can't just walk out the door. Because she's got to look at what I'm walking out the door with. So if you are a friend or an acquaintance or just know them, you help them build a plan of leaving. You help them. You actually help them. You tell them, why he's at work. Get all your important papers and put them in something where he won't look in. Because there's things that women have that you use. Men aren't going to go in there and get anything out of there. They're not going to touch it. But you tell her to slowly put every piece of paper that's important to her and her kids in a certain area. That plan. So what she's doing is you're going to teach her to make a plan to leave. Because if she just walks out the door, that won't help her. So you teach her, listen, you're going to take everything that's important, all the paperwork, and you're going to put them in this right here, something he's not going to go into. Okay, you're going to teach her that. Then you're going to teach her, to put something aside, $1, $10 or whatever, just sneak it aside. That's not going to, and then you're going to slowly help her build a plan to leave. Now, one thing you need to know is it takes women, they leave 5 times before they really leave. Yes, they do leave. They leave 5 times, most of them, before they actually leave. So on the 6th try, they actually leave. They keep coming back because they can't survive out there. Remember, there's no them. They don't exist. So they're a nobody in a nobody society. And you got to remember that when they leave that house as a nobody, society is going to treat them as a nobody because they don't know that they're somebody. So they're not coming off as a strong somebody. So when they go get their first place and look for that hand to help them, it's not there. When they go out there and try to figure out how to go get a job, it's not so easy. And he's going to let them come back. Oh, you better believe. But when she comes back, it's going to be worse than when she was there. But she's going to go back because she couldn't make it. So women, we have to build a safety net for them. We have to teach them how to do it slowly. Just like when a child learns to walk, you slowly get them used to it. They crawl up to the table and they walk along the table. And we help them walk along the table. They walk all around the table. Then they go to the chairs and they'll walk around the chairs. But they're holding it. But they're doing a little 2-step thing. And then eventually they walk off and they fall. But, babies are different instinct than us because we're the nuts who give up after a minute. But they keep walking and keep falling. And then eventually they walk and they got this. And when they first walk, you're like, oh my gosh, my kid's walking like they got off a horse because they're walking kind of weird. But eventually they get it right. So it takes them some steps to walk. Baby's just going to get up and start walking. Well, the same way with that wife. You have to help her build some steps in there to leave, to get out. And by all means, don't say, girl, if I was you, I would leave, because we're not her. We're not in her situation. Often I used to wonder, do they project anything that I don't? Because, you think, do they project something that I don't project? Because he surely knows how to go beat up her and he ain't coming to you. And it would be like, and it would be not that you project anything, but if they feel they can do it and get away with it, they're going to try it. And sometimes they'll try it. You won't realize what they're doing, but they don't succeed. So they realize, I'm not going to be with her because she's not going to, she didn't get the first inkling of thing that I did. So I'm leaving her and I'm going to somebody else who will actually let me do what I need to be doing and what I want to do and what's in me. And you got to remember, the person who abuses you, he has the issue too. Not to say you should feel sorry for them and have the Mother Teresa syndrome and try to help them out, but you got to remember that person has a problem too. They got an issue too. We don't know if they grew up in a home like that or but they have an issue too that's caused them to do what they're doing, and they need help they need help too, just like the wife needs help. And if it's reversed, if the man's getting abused by a woman, she has an issue too that they need to have talked to and go back with and fix that issue, along with repairing what issue with the surviving spouse or the spouse. So we need to remember that when we know somebody who's in a situation, we need to help them build a plan. And don't tell them, hey, listen, you need to go down and talk to Miss So-and-so at the shelter. Just go down there and talk to her. No, you're going to have to figure out a way for this to happen. Everything you do to help somebody in that situation has to be a plan. It really does. It has to be a plan. It can't be just go do it. It's got to be a plan, because you got to remember that mentally, she's broken. Physically, yes, she's broken. But mentally, she's been broken down. And you can't rebuild her by telling her to just walk out. Because if she walks out, then what? Nothing. So she has to have a plan. And she has to want to also leave. You can't talk somebody into leaving and they don't want to leave. You need to understand that's going to take some time to get all this done. And if you don't have the patience and the endurance to help this person, then don't do it from the beginning. But remember, like I said, it takes time. It takes planning. You're going to basically be instilling some, what you want to call it, instilling themselves. You're going to go back and build their self-worth. You're going to help go do that, because she might not reach that point when you think she needs to reach it. Now, yes, some women, they reach a point till they'll take it, and when he starts hitting the kids, she's got to go. That could be her point. I got to go. I'm leaving now because I'm not going to have my kids going through this. And some women, that is their breaking. That's the point. I got to go. I don't care what happened now. I got to go because of this. And they'll leave. They'll leave, but they've made that decision because they'll say, I'll take it as long as my kids don't get it. If my kids aren't getting hit, I got to go. That might be their solution. And that might be the thing that they're not waiting to happen, but hopefully don't happen. But they got to still remember, even though the kids aren't being physically abused, they're being mentally abused, because they live in a house where they've got a mother who gets beat up. And the first thing we say, what do we say in the house? What happens in the house stays in the house. Don't tell nobody. Okay, you don't tell nobody. The kids don't tell nobody. They continue to allow it to happen, and it happens, and we have a cycle. Because like I said, that kid comes to school. And when kids come to school, they bring that with them to school. And that becomes something that once they get to the school, we've got to deal with. Unfortunately, we can't come and punish the parents. We can't come and say, listen, you got to stay after school today. You have to go to ISS because he did this or she did this. So you have to go. We can't do that. So unfortunately, what you're telling us to do and what you're allowing us to do, the abuser, we're punishing your kid for something that you've been doing. Your kid is going to go to ISS for being a bully because of what you're doing at home. So now we're punishing one kid twice. We're punishing him. Well, we're not punishing. He's being punished twice. I put it that way. He's being punished once at home because of what's going on. And he doesn't have the normal family lifestyle that everybody else has, he or she. And then they're being punished at school because they're going to act out because we're it. School is it. We're it. We have your child during the most important time of their life. They're with us. So we become the it. Whatever's going on, whatever happens, we're it. So we get the kid who comes in and acts out. We get the kid who comes in and becomes a bully. Or we get the kid that does the total opposite. We get the kid who stays silent over there in the corner, who sits there all day long with the blank look because they don't want nobody to know what's going on. So they're not the bully. They're the opposite person. They're that person who's withdrawn. And we got to pull whatever we can out of that kid. We've got to find out why their grades are failing, why this is going on. We've got to figure this out because the kid's in our care. So we have to figure all these things out. Either way it goes, the child suffers. And like I said, they're suffering because of the abuser. And the abuser is punishing the kid at home, and we're punishing the kid in school. So it's affecting our kids no matter what we say. So to the women who are being abused, you staying with him, making sure he doesn't abuse the kids, that's not it, because he's mentally abusing the kids. And then you have kids grew up mad at their mother. And they're mad at their mother because she's accepting this. And not to say she's accepting it, but it's going on, and they're not doing anything about it. So to their kids, you're accepting this. They don't understand why you're accepting this or why you didn't leave. So some of the kids end up being mad at mom by saying, we don't know why you stayed. You should have left. We told you to leave, whatever. And you have kids who become the adult part and say, let's leave. You got to leave. And then, you got the mother who will make the decision and that choice. By all means, when we're there to help them, don't say just leave. Help build the plan. In that plan, make sure that it's something that you're willing to help carry out. Make sure that when you're helping her build that plan, if she calls you and say, today is the day right now, make sure right now in the day you're ready to make the move and help her fulfill what it is you all talked about building into that plan. If you want to know who to contact to help you with that, her name is Lolita Gilmore, and she has Teach Them to Love, which is T3L. You can contact her and say, hey, I know a woman in this situation. This is what she needs. And Lolita will help you help her. Or Lolita will slide into your shoes and help her while you not stand back and go away, but while you stand back and do what you need to do. So contact her. There's a lot of support and there's a lot of help going on. And we need to kind of know what it is. We need to be like a walking phone book, the things that they used to have eons ago. We need to be a phone book. Or we need to have all those numbers in our phone or in your notes in your phone or something like that. But we need to have those things because we never know when we're going to need them. You never know when you're going to need to call. I'll say again, Lolita Gilmore. You never know when you're going to need to call and say, hey, I know a lady and I think this is happening. I think. And, Lolita's on it. If you don't want to be on it, you don't think you're going to say the right thing, call her. Call her. She can tell you what to do. And she can also teach you how to slide her in to help in a situation that somebody else is in. So you're not flying on your own doing this and nobody's helping you. You actually have some help and you have somebody to lean on. So during this month of October, as we talk about domestic violence, learn more. Learn what you need to learn. Learn what the signs are. Get to know the fact that she's going to leave 5 times before she actually really leaves. So when she leaves and go back the first time, don't go, girl, I'm done with you. No, don't be done with her. You need to understand that she got out there the first time, couldn't make it. Why not? Because she didn't know how. She doesn't know how, so she didn't make it. Second time, she did a little bit better, but not much. Third, fourth, and fifth time, she made a little fire, but still there was some pullbacks. Sixth time, I got this. And she's out there. So ending with that part, and I wanted to come back and we're going to talk about success. A lot of people are entrepreneurs, or you want to be an entrepreneur, but sometimes things get in our way, and they get in our way of our success. So we're going to talk about success. And success has to do with time. It does. It has to do with time. And time in your life. And it's where, if you waste your time and you waste your life, you either waste your time and your life, or you master your time and master your life. Those things are upon us, and it's there for us to do. So there are 8 things successful people never waste their time doing. And it's important, that we analyze our day. It's important that we analyze our hours. And it's also important that we build a schedule so we don't become time wasters. A lot of people become time wasters because we don't build a schedule of what we're going to do every day. So you know what? Today, you should be writing your plans for tomorrow. And I don't mean tomorrow what you're going to do tomorrow. If you have a business you're going to write down what you're going to be doing tomorrow. Tomorrow, I'm going to contact 4 people. Tomorrow, I'm going to redo my flyer and get my business going better. Tomorrow, I'm going to redo my business cards. You need to have a tomorrow I'm going to do list. Now, the list should not be long. This list should be very short. But if you're going to have a business, or you want to get better at your business, or you're just somebody who does things in the community and you want to be better at it, you need to create a list. And the list needs to be something that's tangible. Don't create a list, today I'm going to contact 40 people. No, you're not. You're not. And you're going to be disappointed at the end of the day because you didn't do it. So let's just say if you have a business that's reaching out, or let's say you're creating an event and you're going to reach out to 6 people today. Okay, that's done. Reach out to those 6 people. But have a plan every day, and make sure, like I said, make sure that the plan is achievable. Make sure it's doable. Do not write a plan that overwhelms you, stresses you out, and feel like you didn't accomplish anything. Make a plan that works. And I'll say myself, I plan a whole bunch of things. I swear. I plan events, but you know what? I can use up a notebook on events that I plan. Why? Because I'll sit there and write it out, and I read it. I'm like, that's the dumbest thing I ever heard in life. You can't do that. I'll read it all over again. That is dumb. So I'm tearing up pages, tearing up pages, tearing up pages. I've been tearing the whole notebook up because I'm writing a plan out, and I'm writing it out slowly. And I write plans out in detail. Whenever you see me, I have a notebook with me. Every time you see me, I have a notebook. If you don't see me holding the notebook, it's in my purse or it's in the bag. It's somewhere, because while I'm sitting there, I'm like, oh man, I could be sitting at your workshop, at your event, and I'm sitting there like, okay, yeah, I need to do this. I'm going to write it down. So then I do have some plans down there. Okay, you know what? I've got 12 plans on here, but they're not off for tomorrow. So I'm going to take those 12 plans and I'm going to say every day I'm going to do 2 of them, or every day I'm going to do 3 of them. And I'm actually do them until I get it right. As far as planning an event, first I got to plan the event. I write it all out. I do. And then I call people. How does this sound? They say stupid. Okay, fine. Really, I knew it sounded crazy when I read it to them, but I just wanted to see, was I really crazy or whatever? So I'm going to talk to somebody about it. I want to reach out to someone and see if my goals are, or if the event I want to do makes any kind of sense. Because if it doesn't make sense to not everybody I know, but to certain people I know I need to redo it. But write everything out that you're going to be doing. Write out your biggest goals. Write out your smallest goals. But remember, make sure they're attainable and reachable. Don't write goals that's going to overwhelm you. The first thing you need to do is identify, the first thing is your time wasting things. You need to walk away from a lot of your time wasting things. You need to write things down that are time wasting for you. A lot of times we're moving to the right, and then somebody, hey, I need your help over here. Okay. I need your help over there. Okay. Well, that's wasting. Some of that is wasting your time. Some of it are things that you didn't need to commit to. You should have left it alone because it took away from the time that you need to do what you did. So there were things that came in your way and you allowed them to come on in. And that allowed you not to move forward. It allowed you to stay still. Because the 3 people you're going to contact, or the new flyer you're going to make, or your new business cards you're going to create because the other ones aren't working, you didn't do that because you stepped over to do a couple of other things that had nothing to do with you, but you jumped in. So you wasted some time. And wasted time is time we can't get back. You can't go back and say, oh man, I'm going to erase this and go. No, you can't do that. Once you wasted your time, you've wasted your time. So, don't get yourself involved in activities that will not contribute to your success. Whatever activities you're in, make sure they can help contribute to what you're doing, to what your mission and goal is as far as life, and what your mission and goal as far as business and your business sense. So make sure that you are involved in things and activities that do that. If not, you could be doing the same thing again, wasting your time, wasting your days, and stopping your successful life. We're looking for success, but sometimes, like I said, we're wasting our time doing things that are holding us back from reaching our full potential. And often we don't recognize those things until someone else points them out. And that's bad. So we need to, step back. I'll tell everybody that me, I can say no to you in a minute. I can say no to you in a heartbeat, because as you're talking about whatever you're doing, in my mind, I'm trying to figure out, where does it fit in for me? Where does what you're doing, want me to do for you, fit in with what I need to do for me? Because it might not fit. So I'll do this. I'll say productive and successful people, they don't get sucked into social media. And what I mean by sucked into it is they don't spend 2 hours on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and all. They don't spend 2 hours on there. They don't. They're not going to sit there for 2 hours and spend. But I do know people who do. I know people who are supposed to be doing things. This lady, we had an event last night, and a friend of mine, she got stuck on the paternity court that's on YouTube. She got stuck on paternity court. What I mean by stuck on paternity court, she had a position to perform at this other event, but she was late. Why? Because she was looking at paternity court. She had she had something to do at the event, but she got stuck there. She got stuck right there. So guess what? She wasn't being successful at that point in time. She let social media dictate her time. She let paternity court dictate her time. So therefore, she was not being successful. She wasn't being productive at all. Now, I'm not saying that successful people don't use social media, because everybody does. But you need to set a limit to it. You actually do. You need to set a limit. You need to go on there, and I'll put it this way. It was last week or week before last, I found out some information. So I'm like, you know what? Let me hit up Facebook. So I did. I went on one point. I let everybody know that Texas closed 750 polling locations from 2013 to now. I let that go. Let that ride. I did. I let it ride. I did. I went to do some other things, and I went back on there again and put some more information in there. What I did was I put out 3 different blurbs about basically the same thing, but I redid it. So I didn't spend 2 hours on there wasting my time. I actually got off. Now, there is sometimes when I'm on there and I'm putting a bunch of information out there, and I'm sitting there. But I do monitor the time that I'm on there. And to be successful, you need to do that. You need to be monitoring the time you're on there. You need to let social media make you late for something that you got to do. It shouldn't make you late to do so. So be careful, and make sure you are in control of it, and it's not in control of you. And like I said, number 2, productive, successful people don't go through the day without a plan. You must have a plan. You need to write down, once again, your priorities. You need to break down the largest to the smallest. And you need to put them in steps, but they need to be for you the whole day. You know, a lot of people laugh at the fact that, people carry notebooks, or people carry calendars, people have stuff with them all day long. You know why? Because they're probably your successful people. Like I said, every time you see me, I have a notebook. There's a notebook stays in my vehicle all the time. There's one in my purse all the time, because while I'm at your event or your whatever you're doing, I'm here. I'm there with you. I'm there, and I'm listening, and I'm cooperating, and I'm part of it. But I'm also on that task of what I'm supposed to be doing, and I'm jotting down some other things that I need to do for my plan. I need to know my plan. Also, number 3, successful people don't do emotionally draining activities. They don't. And we are sometimes in these activities that drain you, and once they drain you, there's no more you left for what you need to be doing. And it's something you didn't need to be doing in the first place. So, this emotionally drain that we do, sometimes we don't need to do it. Now, sometimes, there's some emotionally draining things that belong to you and you'll be doing them. But we got to remember not to do them. You got to remember that that's not part of the plan of action. That's not going to help you succeed. So we need to stop doing that. Successful people don't worry about things they cannot control. And you shouldn't either. If you can't control it, don't worry about it. Because guess what? That's when stress comes in. Stress is when you cannot control. Stress is when you lose control of something. When you lose control, don't lose control. Maintain the control. But don't let other people and other things do that. So if you can't control it, don't worry about it. Let it go. Successful people don't hang out with negative people. Ooh, did you know that? So if you're successful, the last thing you need to be doing is hanging out with somebody that's negative. Leave those negative people alone, because they bring their negative, toxic energy with them, and they give it to you, and they serve it to you on a platter. And what do you do with it? You take it, and you become, you go to work. How you feel? Oh my God, I wish I was still at home. Well, you can either be negative with them and say, yeah, I wish I was too, or you be like, well, I'm glad to be here this morning. So you can turn that around and don't give it back. Successful people don't dwell on past mistakes. And you don't. You make a mistake, you learn from it, and you move on, and make sure that you can do that. Because everybody makes mistakes. In fact, it's important early to make mistakes. When you first start something out, you want to make as many mistakes as possible. You do. You really, 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 you want to make all of them, so that later on, you learn from them, and you move on, and you do better. Successful people don't focus on what other people are doing. Don't do that. Whatever you're doing, make sure you're doing it. Make sure you're focusing on what you're doing. If somebody else is doing the same thing that you're doing, don't worry about it. Just keep on doing what you're doing. Make sure what you're doing is productive and what you are doing is good. And you'll be fine. But, don't worry about what other people are doing. And successful people don't put themselves last in priority. You don't do that. Don't kick off your important day by making somebody else your priority. And I'm not talking about your family. I'm not talking about your family at all. But make sure that you're the priority and part of your successful day. So those are the things that we need to do if we want to have a successful day and we want to be successful people, and we don't want to waste time on things that don't concern us, things that's not about us, and things that help and make you grow. Make sure you're not wasting your time with that. Somebody might serve you something. You go, I could help them out with that. But I don't need to. You gotta be the one. I could really help with that, but if I help with that, I can't get this going. So I'm not gonna do it. Don't stretch yourself to go, you know what? I can actually do both, and I can do them very good. Sometimes you can, and sometimes you can't. You need to know when you can and when you can't, because guess what? That's not what we need. You need to be fully successful and fully ready to do what you got to do and be ready all the time. So you need to remember, successful people don't get sucked into social media, so don't spend your 2 hours on there and you're not doing what you're supposed to do. Successful people do not go throughout the day without a plan. So make sure you have a plan that's reachable and attainable. Successful people don't do emotionally draining activities. So remember that. So those things over there that are draining, that you don't need to be doing, don't do it. Successful people don't worry about things they cannot control. If you can't control it, don't worry about it. It's not in your control. You can't do nothing about it anyway. What you gonna do? Worry about something you can't really? For all serious, don't worry about it. Just let it go. And remember, successful people don't hang out with negative people. Don't do that. They can, if you're not careful, they can steal your joy. They can steal your thunder. They can steal your feelings, because you will be one of them. Learn that you can get in the valley with somebody, but learn how to get yourself out of that valley. Somebody might come to you with the woe is me, oh my God, whatever. And for 2 seconds, you're not in there with them, but you might say, you know what, I was there one time and this is what I did to get out. Okay, fine. Then get out. Once you get into that and this is what I did to get out, get out. Just leave it. Don't be in it no more. Successful people don't dwell on their past mistakes. Learn from your mistakes and move forward, okay? Don't stay there. Like I said, I like mistakes because they become a teachable moment for me, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to do that again. And don't do that again either, I put myself under a wire of something that made me work harder to get it. I'm like, I'm not doing that no more. I'm going to stress this out. Because it didn't stress me out, but it was like I'm arguing with myself the whole time about this. And successful people don't focus on what other people are doing. You don't. I looked at on Facebook, and yes, I'm doing November 2nd. I'm doing the informational block party. But I looked on there again. There's another group that just formed, and they're doing something. I didn't let it stress me out. I started laughing. I did. I'm like, this is so cute. I did. And I said to a friend of mine, I'm like, look, this is really cute. She was like, you crazy. That's what her said to me. She said, you are so crazy. I thought it was cute. To me, I'm like, that's so cute. I like it. I left it alone at that, but I thought it was cute. It didn't upset me or nothing. She says, you're not upset about it? No, I think it's cute because you're doing what I did. So you know what? All you're going to make me do is do something a little better. That's all. You're going to make me step up and add something else just because of that. That's it. And it's a challenge for me. It's not anything that made me upset. Also remember, successful people do not put themselves last in priority. You don't do that, because once you do that, you lost, and other people need to find out. So you know what? I hope today you learned a whole bunch, because we did talk a whole bunch of things. But I hope that you were productive in listening to what I was talking about. And I hope you got involved with some of the things I was saying. So I want to thank you for listening to KISS Community Connections. And I want you to always remember, you cannot live a positive life with a negative mind. We'll talk to you next Sunday. Bye now.